Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the State of MMA today. And as always, I'm sure you know, I'm your host, Jeremy Roach. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for coming back to the YouTube channel. Appreciate it, guys. All of you that liked and subscribed, if you haven't already, please feel free to do so down below. If you don't want to, don't. Just do that. Just watch. Have fun. Enjoy. But without further ado, guys, let's step into this the way that we always step into this with our final gym showcase before the trip to Austin for myself. So let's do this right here. Boom, there we go. ITS, Integrated Training Systems, my old home gym back in Michigan, Lee Dickinson, guys. This is where we used to train. This is what it looked like. This is what a lot of your up-and-coming fighters train in or start in, and they move to some other larger MMA-style gym out there. This is what we're doing. We're showcasing local, small gyms. We always do this every single month. There's something new. We try to showcase different fighters. Recently, I've been picking fighters on certain cards until I find another one that I really, really want to showcase and talk to you guys about, or I feel has a good fight coming up in the future. Wow. So, enough of all that. You guys can see what's going on behind here. It's pretty cool. And as always, we're always affiliated and sponsored with Onnit, top left, bottom right corner, you know. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Onnit. If you don't know what they're about, please go check them out at onnit.com. Please. You just do yourself a favor. If you need some healthy supplements, you need legitimate supplements, you need to know where they're coming from, not some dude at the store at GNC who's been dripping Winstrol off of his body all day long and tells you to get this because he knows he's jacked from it. Yeah. Get some organic stuff, guys. Get the good stuff. Go to Onnit. Enough of that. We got to start out with a wow. A wow for the week and a wow for last week's fight. Last weekend's fight was absolutely amazing. The fight card was really, really good. You had a lot of decision slash knockouts that were barn burner fights and straight up brawls. So I really, really liked to see it different from the previous fight card that took 70 years of my life in Germany. That one was forever. Absolutely forever. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle doing that again. The Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier main card, guys. We're going to review it a little bit before we hop into a few things. And it's only because of this reviewing and some things that were kind of pointed out to me by some other articles I had read in some other videos. I want to say other people, but just other articles and things that I kind of noted here. So you have Eddie Alvarez losing to Dustin Poirier, which is good for the division in my opinion, which kind of sucks for Eddie Alvarez because he's been up there. I just think that his game has not grown. You have to grow in the UFC. You have to show improvement, and Poirier showed improvement. He showed that he could withstand, he could stay back, he didn't have to jump in. His takedown defense still isn't really, it's there. It's there. He's good at the scramble and getting back up. I'd like to see if like the later rounds, the pressuring from somebody else is going to have an effect on him in any way. Like a Khabib, the ability to just drag him out, take him down, hold him, and not let him get up. Because if it wasn't for the fact of the illegal elbow, this thing right here, these, bam, 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 whatever that, it was one elbow to the shoulder. It was kind of a garbage stand-up. But after watching the fight, I know some people didn't probably watch it thoroughly or didn't watch it 2-3 times like I did and then do some more like research on it. Eddie Alvarez is a pretty dirty fighter. He got in trouble for the knee, the illegal knee to the head, which I was like, whatever, it happens. And then he got told multiple times to stop holding onto the cage with his fingers. Well, I thought it was that. It was that he was shoving his fingers inside Poirier's ears, which if you also don't know the UFC rules, no fingers in orifices. That including your mouth, your nose, your ear, your rump, all that. He did that twice, and the ref went and talked to him about it. And then he did the elbow, which doesn't make any sense because they're like, yeah, this shouldn't be any different than this. But, I mean, you can generate a lot more power with your core driving down than you can just an arm going this way, I think. I would feel that I've always, this is a lot because you throw your body weight into it. But in their position, it wouldn't have been able to be effective because they had him pushed up. Poirier was pushed up against the wall. And I know you guys can't see that this is a wall here, but it's a wall. And you can't do anything really. So it was an interesting situation to see Alvarez in, and it sucked that he had to get stood up. But my opinion in that is we just got to see what would have happened later on. Because if he would have held that position for a round, the rest of the round, because he wasn't in full mount, he was in full mount press up the cage with their bodies pushed up against each other. So there wasn't a lot of damage being done. Anyway, I'm getting too in depth in this stuff for you guys. I'm going to bore the shit out of you. They got stood up. Eddie Alvarez loses that fight. Poirier moves on. Really, really good for him. We have to also do the hats off tip off to Jose Aldo, man. Jose Aldo came out and showed that he could still eat punches. It looked like he might have been weeble wobbled this much, just a little bit. But he came back with a body shot from Neptune. It just comes back and boom. Perfect form. You see, he doesn't have the wrist turned like this and it's punching sideways. He's got the wrist lined up, elbow behind, right in, full power shot to the liver. It was beautiful. Dropped him, went after him. Yeah, Stevens might have been not knocked down and out, but at this point in time, the referee has to look at what is best for you in your safety. You weren't defending yourself, your hands weren't protecting your head, you got dropped hard and you were holding your body. So you're in a vulnerable state. How long should the ref let you be in a vulnerable state to take damage that's unnecessary? I liked it. I like the stoppage. It is what it is. And then we have to shout out to Joanna Jędrzejczyk for taking on Tisha Torres and winning that fight. It wasn't as handily as I liked. I think Tisha was in the fight. I think Tisha was 2 takedowns away from stealing that in a split decision, to be honest with you. She takes Joanna down 2 more times in a couple rounds. And one more time in the first round, one more time in the third round. And you've got this accumulation of takedowns. Now she wins by split decision, maybe. So I don't know. It was a little weird. A little weird in that. Shout out to everybody else in the card. Everybody else did really, really well. I mean, you've got, what was her freaking, I can always get a hard time with her name. Ansaroff, Nina Ansaroff. Shout out to her. That's Amanda Nunes' chick. She's doing the damn thing. She's out there winning. Dustin Ortiz didn't believe in him, but apparently he's still super legit knocking out Matheus Nicola. Wow in that. There was armbar wins, like Islam Machushenkov or Machishiv. His armbar victory. Come on, there's nothing you couldn't have. There's no other thing that happens in UFC, barring a random flying kick off the cage or whatever, that you wouldn't have seen in this. There was armbar, different submissions, there's takedowns, ground and pound, knockouts, spinning elbows, spinning back fists, technical Muay Thai striking, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and elbows in the clinch, and clinch dominance being shown there between the two ladies. If you watched Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Tisha Torres fight, it was a clinic of how to get underhooks, double underhooks, turn, pin the opponent against the cage, get underneath, and keep holding. If you don't know how to do that, or you're having trouble struggling doing that, watch that fight a few times. You won't. All right, we're done with the card, but we're not done with the card. Because I wanted to bring something up that I had read, and this is going to be the topic of discussion today, is when you lose to the champion, the same guy twice, is it a death sentence for your career? And I bring this up for multiple reasons, guys. I bring this up for TJ Dillashaw's comment going into, and for this we'll pull up the fight card at the same time, going into the Garbrandt fight. Dillashaw said, I'm going to ruin his career with this fight, which isn't he's not being malicious. He's being honest. And I thought at first, like, man, that's kind of malicious for you, TJ. That's not something that I would expect from you. You know, it's not your kind of personality. I'm rooting for Dillashaw in this fight, if you didn't know already. I looked it up and did some research. Every person who's lost to the current champion 2 times never goes back to fight for the title. Just doesn't happen. What do we do? What do we do with that then? Kind of goes back to my farm system. Kind of goes back to pushing guys in too early. And with this situation, TJ was right, and he was looking out for Cody, and Cody couldn't even see it. He's too wrapped up in this alpha male drama that's going on. If you don't know about the team alpha male drama with TJ leaving and different camps and all that, watch the Embedded. You'll figure it out. But Cody, if I could tell you anything, man, he's looking out for you. I know the fight's already happening. You can't do anything about it. But if you would have fought somebody else and won, and TJ comes back and fights somebody and wins, and then you guys fight each other again down the line, maybe you fight 2 people before you get back in, still be super popular, still make a lot of money. But if you lose this and then you get told that you're not going to fight for the belt again, because who's going to want to see TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt, number 3, after Garbrandt's been knocked out twice? It's just not going to sell, and then you kill your division. And you kill an up-and-comer, because they're both young, and they're both around the same age. So you've got, what do you do with Garbrandt now? Tell him he's got to go to 45? He's got to cut to 25? It's weird, because TJ's not in the same boat. If TJ loses this fight, he takes another fight against Garbrandt. And if he loses that one, he probably gets another one. Because, yeah, it's 2, but he's already won one. Different scenario, different situation. There's Dominic Cruz in the way. That's a killer division, too. You know what? I think I already got the rankings pulled up. There it is. TJ Dillashaw, champ. Cody Garbrandt, Dominic Cruz, Rafael Sunsao, Marlon Moraes, who's fighting, I believe, on this card. Moraes. Jimmy Rivera, John Lineker, John Dodson, Aljamain Sterling. Who else was in this? What? I saw Aljamain Sterling. Okay, so Sugar Sean O'Malley's not on here either. Is he up a weight class and Aljamain was just down here? No, he's not in feather either. So maybe he is a 135er, and that's where he's at. So I would put a few of the, like Rob Font out there. I think you've got a up-and-coming young division. Lineker, though, who TJ's beat. John Dotson's very, very good opponent because that's TJ's first loss ever. Jimmy Rivera beat Rafael Sunsao. He's beat. It's just one of those things. It's like, okay, well, if TJ wins, he's got a rematch with Dominic Cruz. Or a fight with Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. That's what I'm looking at there. If Garbrandt wins, he's got the rest of the division to fight because he hasn't beaten almost anybody in there except for bottom tier guys like Thomas Almeida. So he's got that against him. He beat Dominic Cruz, which is crazy that he did that. I think if you do it 9 times out of 10, Cody probably wins. Not 9 times out of 10. If you do it 10 times, roll it back, he probably wins 2 out of 8, in my opinion, against a healthy, in shape, ready to go Dominic Cruz, not rusty. But it just keeps bringing up this point with you guys of let's just look at it right now. People who have lost twice or have lost to the contender. Like, look at how hard it is just for Alexander Gustafsson to get a shot back after losing to John Jones and Daniel Cormier. And that's kind of the same effect, right? Because DC lost to John Jones, but beat Gustafsson, and Gustafsson lost to both. So you might as well have lost to the champion 2 times. We're not going to count that one. Jose Aldo, he just won, right? And he beat Jeremy Stevens, but he's already lost to Max Holloway twice. What are you going to do there? You want him to take that? Should he fight for that? I don't know. Seems a little weird. And then where's Tyron Woodley's weight class? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You really want to see that again? He's not getting another shot until there's a new champion. I'm trying to think. I want to see the list of what it was before. I'm sure there's plenty more. And then Joanna Jędrzejczyk's unfortunately in the same category. She beats Tisha Torres at 5. She's beat 2. She's beat 3. She's beat 4. She's beat 6. She has beat everybody not named Rose. Do you give her another title shot? She's already lost twice. Just a question, guys. I'm just asking. Just trying to figure this out. Yoel Romero lost twice. Now what do you do? Does he go up? Does he fight it? He's beat Weidman. I believe he's beat... I don't know. I got to look at Yoel Romero's record again. See who he's beaten again. He beat Souza. He beat Souza. He beat Machida. He beat Tim Kennedy. Beat Tavares. Beat Brunson. Beat Souza. Beat Weidman. Oh, and he beat Luke Rockhold. So what then? What do you do? What do you do then? I'm just looking at this going, wow. If you look at the division, we'll go back to the division. Yoel Romero's beaten Rockhold, Weidman, Souza, Brunson. So he's beaten 6-5, 3-2. He hasn't beaten Kevin Gastelum because they haven't fought, but he's the only one in there. But I think Gastelum's getting the next shot. Because what you could do is you could say Yoel versus Gastelum. If he beats Gastelum, you give him the shot because the last fight was close, a little bit garbage league, blah, blah, blah. But then you could say both fights Robert Whittaker fought with something hurt and injured and wasn't at his full potential and might destroy him next time. All I know is Robert Whittaker looked like he was on stanky legs for 3 rounds, and Yoel's got the power to be and put people out. And he wasn't threatened at any other time. I never felt like, Yoel, you're in danger. So, this is why I ask, guys, because you get this, or like Megan Anderson fights and stuff like that are coming up. They talked about giving her Cyborg or a title, or like Holly Holm. If Holly fights Cyborg again, she's never fighting for the title in that division again. Right? Because no one's beating her anyway. Holly fights... I want to see how many times she's fought Amanda Nunes now. We'll kill Yoel Romero's tab over here, guys. And again, if you guys didn't all know, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for joining the State of MMA Today family. I appreciate it, guys. Everything we do, we record this live straight through. All the editing stuff you see that ever pops up in here is always after. I like to keep it as live recorded as absolutely possible. So you guys know what's up. We can sit here and talk. We can have a chat. I can scroll through some stuff with you guys. We kind of break it down. Okay. So, Holly Holm lost to Drain Durandamy. She lost to Valentina Shevchenko. She lost to Misha Tate. She lost to Cyborg once. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. 1, 2, 4 losses. She's got a 5-4 record in the UFC. So, Holly's not really in this category, but I mean... she's lost to the champion of that division both times there was a champion, right? So what do we do, guys? What do we go out and do? What do we propose is the change? Because you've got the potential for this happening a few times, right? And I have another little thing we're going to touch on that I'm upset about just because of that. So if Garbrandt loses to TJ Dillashaw, what does Garbrandt do now? He has to fight the rest of the division and then hope that TJ gives him a shot later on? And oh, geez, I didn't even... Wow, you guys should be screaming at me. Henry Cejudo, also fighting on this card. Now what? Now what, guys? If he loses, which I'm betting he does, to Demetrius Johnson, that's 2 shots at the belt. Do you move up? I vote he moves up. I think he moves up to bantamweight and does really good work there. Just because of his wrestling. I think he moves up from fly to bantamweight. Bantamweight. I always want to put an M in there. Bantam. Bam-tum. It's bantam. Jeez, oh Pete's, boys. So what do we do with these divisions? What do we do with certain fighters that lose twice to the champ? Like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's been relatively inactive. Yeah, he fought Darren Till, lost that. It was a close fight. What do you do now? You say he's done, he's washed up, it's over with. He's the number 4 ranked in the world. It seems like if you're not ranked at 3 or above in some divisions, you're almost irrelevant. Even in this, like you look at this, for lightweight, you have Khabib champion, Conor, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez, Kevin Lee. Okay, so let's look at this. Tony Ferguson's relevant. Dustin Poirier is only relevant because of his last fight. Eddie Alvarez, now irrelevant. Kevin Lee, irrelevant. Edson Barbosa, irrelevant. Justin Gaethje, irrelevant. For the title contention is what I'm talking about, not in anybody's eyes. Anthony Pettis, irrelevant. Ali Quinta, for sure irrelevant. James Vick, irrelevant. Nate Diaz, number 10, should be way higher, but he's irrelevant. Michael Chiesa, irrelevant. Alex Hernandez, becoming more relevant, but still irrelevant. Dan Hooker, Trinaldo, Francisco Trinaldo, irrelevant. Everybody's irrelevant in that division. Not even close to a title shot. Anthony Pettis has to beat everyone above him. Justin Gaethje has to try to beat everyone above him and hasn't. He's lost to 2. Edson Barbosa needs to beat somebody in the top 5 consistently. Kevin Lee needs to get another top 5 victory in order to show. He needs to beat Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin fights Kevin Lee, and then we see, and that is I think that's a rematch. If I believe so. No, it was Michael Johnson he lost to. I don't know why I always get Michael Johnson and Kevin Lee misinformed with each other. Okay. Yeah, that's the fight for me. That's the fight for me for that division. But anyway, we're not breaking down divisions. I just wanted to point this out to you guys. And what we have to do differently is when someone loses the belt or loses a title fight, it's not always best for them to jump right back in it. And I bring this up with the Stipe Miocic thing in the background. And for Stipe to hold off a little bit. Because I thought, he does deserve an immediate title defense. He needs to go right back into this. Stipe deserves to have a shot. He's the most defending, most winning heavyweight champion in the world. Why would he not get an immediate rematch? Immediate rematches don't make a lot of sense sometimes anymore. Danny used to never do them. It was never a thing. You would never get an immediate rematch. Just never happen. Now it happens every once in a while. But I absolutely agree with the no immediate rematches now. This is why. This is absolutely why. If he loses, and I mean, DC's going to retire, so that really doesn't matter. He's just going to become champion again anyway. But if DC chose not to retire and stays in for the next year, you're going to fight him, right? And if you lose, you're never getting a heavyweight title shot again until he retires, until DC retires. And at that point in time, you look at the list, there's only a few people DC's really got to worry about. I mean, Ngannou, you just double leg the shit out of him. Don't get hit and double leg him the whole time. So it's a little weird for me because then you see guys like this up and coming stuff like Volkan Ozdemir, and it's only because Daniel Cormier is retiring that this even isn't an issue there. But let's just say that names whoever. Let's just say Daniel's not retiring. Okay? And then let's say Volkan goes to fight him again. Never again will he ever fight for the belt if Daniel's champion. Alexander Gustafsson fights him, loses. Never again will he fight for the belt. That's your number 1 and number 2 guy. Now what do you do with them? Just saying, guys. Just bringing it out. I'm talking about it. Okay. Enough of all that. Enough of that nonsense. Enough of the debates and things that could or couldn't happen or may not. It's the fight game, boys and girls. It's tricky. It's weird out there. It's definitely a weird place. So we're looking at this UFC 227, Saturday, August 4th. I will be out of town for this fight, guys. I will be watching it in Austin, Texas. And I'm thinking about doing, because I'll be in Austin the whole week next week. If you didn't see the last week's episode, I talked about this a little bit before. I'm going to be in Austin the whole week. So maybe we'll do a live video, an actual live recording, do like a short breakdown of what happened after the fight, and just make it the State of MMA Today on the road live. It'll be our 10th episode then. This is the 9th episode, so it'll be a major step for us, 10 episodes deep. Really cooking through this, guys. I really appreciate you all and all the support. Let's get into this fight card. Let's break it down a little bit. Let's see what more this card has to offer for us. And in all reality, you, in my opinion, you could not watch anything before the main event and you'd be fine, right? You've got a few fights under here like Pedro Munhoz versus Brett Johns at the 135-pound division. Again, it doesn't do anything for me emotionally. Is it going to be a good fight? Yes, 100%. You got number 9 versus number 14. 3 losses from Pedro, 1 loss on Brett Johns. Interesting fight, new division. It's exactly what they need. Not new division, but new youth in the division. It's what they need. Absolutely what they need. And they've got a lot of these are, which is surprising, you've got on Fox, No Name, Ricky Simon, Montel Jackson. How many fights does Montel Jackson have in the UFC? He has 1. 1 fight. Oh, wait. Dana White, the Tuesday Night Contender Series. Jeez. And if you go to UFC for the fight, it goes WTNCS2. So he got a 3rd round KO in the Contender Series. Are these just Contender Series guys that get to fight on FX? Is that what this is? Okay, no. The other guy did start, Tuesday Night Contender Series, split decision, comes into the UFC, 3rd round knockout, now is fighting this guy. So they're testing their young blood. The UFC is doing a good job at the undercard and the prelims of putting out their young guys and getting them some notoriety. I can't be against that. Not even a little bit. But I also can't pinpoint a fight. I'm going to watch all of these, though. Oh, man. The only reason I want to watch this dude fight, too, is because his nickname is Mr. Perfect, and he's got a 13-7 record. It's hilarious. No, guys, for me, the FX card and the UFC early pre-pass card, you don't want to sleep on them because they're always great fights, and they normally turn out to be the better fights on the night anyway. Go watch them after. It doesn't matter. They start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. For the FX card, Eastern time. Go watch them, check out, support the FX stuff. They just need to come up with something different in this, something that's going to promote these guys, because no one knows who these guys are. No one's tuning in for that. And then you go into the main event, and the first fight on the main event is just Thiago Santos versus Kevin Holland. And did Santos win his last fight? And I believe he won it by knockout. I'm almost 100% sure in this. No, he lost. He lost to David Branch by knockout. Other 3 fights before that, he won by knockout. His history is really good in the UFC. He lost his first fight, though, to Cesar Ferreira by submission. Knockout against Ronnie Marks. Loses to Uriah Hall by unanimous decision. Then he has a knockout win, another knockout win, a unanimous decision against Theodoro, which is a great win. Knockout Nate Marquardt. Loses to Gegard, which is a hard fight. Loses to Eric Spicely, which he should never have lost, but he lost by submission, so clearly his ground game was lacking. Marshman, he beats knockout. 3 knockouts. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, Anthony Smith. Like the Anthony Smith that's like tuning people up. He did knock out Anthony Smith. And it was this year. Interesting. Huh. Very, very interesting. But that's at 185. Smith moved up to 205. So, dang. But I expect this to be another fight for Santos to get back on track. Kevin Holland, Trailblazer, 13-3 record. Where is he fighting? What's his fight history? Oh, come on, Dana. He was on the Dana White Contender Series. He won by unanimous decision, and now he's fighting an absolute killer and Thiago Santos. It's like the UFC doesn't care if you're not in the top 15. If you're in the top 15, you're good. If you're below the top 15, you don't matter. And then he's just giving these dudes that he's like, oh yeah, go ahead, fight number 13. Go ahead. I know you only won one fight on the Contender Series. Go ahead. You're 13-3. Do it. Go ahead, fight him. Maybe I'll eat my words. Maybe I'll be eating crow over here, and it'll be like, whoa, well, you totally messed up on that one. That was a bad idea. And you've got another next fight on the main card. Paulina Viana versus J.J. Aldrich. You got a 10-1 record on one side, 6-2. I'm interested to see this fight because of their record in the 115-pound division. We need some more life to come in here, some more resurgence to move up, get some old vets out, see what they can do. Oh, I mean, J.J. Aldrich on this horrible all-white UFC fight kit shirt. Atrocious looking for her. Dude, yeah, that's awful. Should be an interesting fight. But again, then you get this fight card. You can't tell right now because I'm super excited to watch this. I cannot wait to watch this fight card. UFC 227 is going to be awesome for 3 fights, in my opinion. For 3 fights. And here they are. Cub Swanson versus Renato Moicano. Oh, boy. Oh, buddy. Is this going to be a fight at the 145-pound division? You look at this. Moicano's only losses to Ortega, who Cub Swanson has recently lost to. So they both have that. But you look at this. Full expanded history. Submission win, split decision, submission loss, unanimous decision. He's a grinder. Cub's a in-your-face style striker. I think that this favors Cub Swanson wholeheartedly. We'll pull up Cub's record just to be fair, because I'm very, very, very biased. Biased alert for you guys. I'm super biased in this fight. A lot of these fights I'm super biased. So what have you done for me recently? Cub Swanson has lost twice. Once to Brian Ortega, once to Frankie Edgar. The unanimous decision against Frankie Edgar. This is tough. It's tough. Because I think Cub can win those fights. I think Cub can easily win those fights. But he beats Hakron Diaz, which is a great fighter. He beats Kawajiri, who's a great fighter. He beats Duho Choi. He beats out the GOAT himself, Artem Lobov. It's going to be crazy, the GOAT. Fight of the night against Duho. Fight of the night versus Artem. Fight of the night loss to Brian Ortega. Looked really good in that fight still. Then he comes back, defeated, demoralized, loses to Frankie Edgar. I don't think that was the play for him. I don't. But, whoo, boy, is this going to be a good one for him. You got number 5 versus number 10. Moicano's got the ability to hop up the division, see what he's capable of, what he can actually do. I'm giving it to your boy, Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson for the win, for everything. It's where he's at in his game. I think he's going to progress and move. I think he's growing. We'll see. And then you've got the co-main event, which in my opinion should be the main event. But when he main events cards, they normally don't turn out that well money-wise. TJ's a bigger pull money grab. The UFC fans would buy it the same, either or was the main event, but more people outside will buy this because of the rivalry. Man, Henry Cejudo, Demetrius Johnson. Do I want to say that Cejudo is going to be mind-blowingly different? No, he's not. And I want to pull up because it says he has another loss. Oh, he lost to Joseph Benavidez. Wow. He lost to Benavidez via split decision, beats Wilson Hayes, and then beats Sergio Pettis, which, I mean, if you look at the division, guys, Henry Cejudo, Sergio Pettis, Joseph Benavidez, Ray Borg. Oh, Wilson Hayes is number 7. Oh, wow. I mean, Cejudo's, I'm pretty sure, beat everyone else, though. He beat Formaga. So in all reality, Henry Cejudo is probably the least deserving out of all. I don't know. Let's check out Benavidez. See where he's at in his life. God, I think he just got destroyed. Yeah, he lost to Sergio Pettis. But, I mean, he was on a nice oh, wow. Joseph Benavidez is a closet G. I'd like to point out his losses. He lost to Dominic Cruz, different weight division. Fought Dominic Cruz for the belt, again, lost. He then wins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights to fight Demetrius Johnson, and he loses. He fights 3 more fights, goes to fight Demetrius Johnson again, and loses. He's another guy. There's your list. Fought twice against the current champion. Win, 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 win. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. Beat the number 2 contender in Henry Cejudo. Still didn't get a shot. Still didn't get a shot at the championship. You can't fight the champion twice and lose and expect to get it again. Henry Cejudo got back to the championship with a loss to Benavidez, beat Hayes, beat Sergio Pettis. And the only reason he's getting it is because if Benavidez beats Sergio, then you have a debate. Who deserves it more? It's hard, guys. It's hard out there. Hard out there. So what we'll do is we'll do predictions after I talk about the fight. I'll predict each one after we're done with me breaking them down a little bit. So I see this fight going in Demetrius Johnson's favor heavily, though. The next main event of the evening. TJ Dillashaw versus Cody No Love Garbrandt. There's no hiding the fact that I do not like Cody Garbrandt as a personality. I don't know him as a person. I don't know how he truly is. As a fighter, he's good, and I can't say he's bad. He's up there, and I want to criticize him and knock it down a peg a little bit. And by watching the tape, breaking down the TJ Dillashaw fight against him, Dan Hardy's breakdown of it, he's got a lot of tells on what he's going to do, and he's not very diverse. No head kicks. His leg kicks are they're just a throw. His jab's out there. It's okay. It's good. His right hand is super powerful. He steps back too far, and that's how you know it's coming. Dan Hardy pointed that out. Every time he threw his right hand, he first steps back hard and then throws. And TJ read it in the first minute, circled, backed up, and laughed and giggled and moved. When TJ got caught, he got caught going in without his head down. His head was up. He got caught going in, and he got tapped on the chin and moved and wobbled a bit. If he doesn't make that mistake of being not smart, doing what most fighters don't do, which is coming straight forward, hands a little bit low with your chin up, keep it down, keep it out, extended. He's supposed to hide, shell yourself. No here, hand up here. Not going to happen. You watch the Cody Garbrandt breakdown with Dan Hardy, and you show his left hook. We talked about it earlier. It doesn't always connect like this. It hit him the one time when on the knockdown and the knockout of Garbrandt, they exchanged punches. And Dillashaw's punch landed cleanly because he was in range and extended. And by the time they came in, Garbrandt's throwing his hook like this. It hit like he was playing arm wrestling. And there's no power there. I mean, try to hit something really hard doing this. It's a lot easier doing that when you're coming around than it is to do that. Club somebody. And then the TJ Dillashaw's record after fighting somebody once and coming back, he just picks them apart, downloads and analyzes them, and his only goal is to beat that guy. Nothing else in his mind right now except for, I'm going to destroy you, I'm going to destroy you, I'm going to pick you apart, and this is what I'm going to do. And not only that, he's hinted at takedowns now and about strangling Cody. Cody Garbrandt's takedown defense is 100%, right? 85% from Dillashaw. They're both really good defensive grappling. TJ Dillashaw has more attacks on the ground. He's a more offensive grappler. I would like to see what happens with that. If there's an exchange where there was a lot of exchanges where Dillashaw goes in, he goes high, here, dips down, goes around, And he could have went for a double leg or a single leg, but he chooses not to. He chooses to step, move, kick, position. And it's a little bit different than what most fighters would do. They go in and power double and hold them down and do what they need to do there. I don't know. I think that's super interesting that Dillashaw brings this to the table. And Garbrandt, I don't know if he's going to utilize that. What he needs to do, in my opinion, for Garbrandt to win this fight, here's the breakdown. Ready, go. We're breaking it down. I'm going to tell you who's going to win. Breakdown, check. If Cody Garbrandt is able to stuff the takedowns, push TJ Dillashaw up against the cage, counter wrestle, clinch, step away, exchange, put the pressure on him, make Dillashaw aggravated, frustrated, fight emotional, he can win. Easily. That's what he did. He made TJ emotional. He wanted to get one back, and then he caught him. Garbrandt, same thing, man. TJ Dillashaw can take out Garbrandt by making him emotional, but he also can take him out by footwork, precision striking, expert grappling, and his submission game. He has more tools. He dropped him down with a high kick. I don't know if Garbrandt's thrown a high kick in his career. Not that you have to, but when you have a fighter that does these things better than you, and he isn't a wrestler. So what negates, if I'm a wrestler and you have better kicks and better strikes than me by a little bit, I can negate a lot of that by my takedowns, by pressure takedown, then your kicks go away, and then it doesn't really matter if I have crappy kicks or okay kicks or check leg kicks or whatever it may be, because the pressure of that's there. That's in Dillashaw's favor, not Garbrandt's. So that's a little, if Cody is to throw a kick and Dillashaw blocks it, catches it, takes him down, Dillashaw has a better opportunity to hold the ground and put him in a situation to strangle him. So I'm going TJ Dillashaw, second or third round, knockout submission. It's either a knockout or a sub. He's finished him in the second or third round. Demetrius Johnson, Henry Cejudo. It either ends one of two ways, in my opinion. 5-round unanimous or second round rear naked choke. Say that. Cub Swanson, Moicano, Cub Swanson, knockout, second round. Put that one down. Vienna Aldrich, toss up for me. Looking at it here, I'm going to go with Viana from Brazil, the 10-1 record. I got to go with that. And then next on the board for the fight card, the main card, is Thiago Santos. He's the guy. He wins that fight, hands down, in my opinion. Those are the cards, the fights to put your money on, guys. If you want to put money down on the fights, feel free. Go ahead, do all that. I'm going Dillashaw, Johnson, Swanson, Vienna, and Santos as your winners. They're all favorites, I'm going to assume. If you want to make money, Cejudo by decision would be smart. That could be it. Also, Garbrandt by knockout. He's not going to win by decision, and he's not going to win by submission. Garbrandt by knockout's the other bet to place on that one for you guys. The highlight for me in this of all of these two is going to be TJ Dillashaw, the Cody Garbrandt. We'll highlight both of them, both new parents, both new to the family situation. They're calming down a little bit. They're youthful vibratos calming, and they're kind of getting into themselves and their own fight game and where they're going to be. So this is going to be a good fight for the UFC. This is going to be great for the future of the UFC. I'd like to see Demetrius win, Dillashaw win. They call out each other. They meet up afterwards and go, we're fighting each other. Dillashaw wants to drop down. Johnson should move up. They should do a 1-1 for that. I mean, it would be great. It would be absolutely amazing to see. So I'm excited for these fights coming up, guys. If you're not, let me know why. Why aren't you excited? What isn't making you happy? What is the UFC doing that's not helping you out? Why aren't we tuning in to see these fights? What's going on? Are you going to buy UFC 227? I'm going to be buying UFC 227. I'll be watching it in Austin. Please, guys, you want to stay tuned next week. Get ready because it's probably going to be a little earlier in the week. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a little live video while we watch the fight, depending on where we watch the fight. If it's not on YouTube, we'll be doing it live stream through Facebook or Instagram. But for sure next week, there's going to be a live recording from Austin breaking down the aftermath of this fight and the fights upcoming and the state of MMA that week. You know how this goes here, guys. I absolutely appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the little bell for alerts down the road, become an alert member. That way, whenever time I post a video, you're getting that alert. You know what's going to be there. You know you're going to get new information. You're going to be talking about some new stuff that's going on in MMA. You're going to get the dirt. You're going to get a little bit of a different thing. We're not going to sit here and talk about Conor McGregor second up to Brooklyn and New York and this and that. We know he's going to fight Khabib, but nobody's saying it. That's all speculation. We're going to talk about stuff that's going down, tangible things in the UFC, what's going on, how to make it a better sport, to change the sport, to move it forward. That's what we do here. Appreciate you guys. This is the state of MMA today. I'm Jeremy Roach. We're out.